Hello and welcome to my Three Hopes Archer Guide. In this guide we'll be covering the Archer class, its attacks, its abilities, and basically some tactics to use with or while playing this class. So let's dive into it. So the Archer class, it is a bow class that has pretty good range on its attacks. So for example, you can see here we're hitting this dude from really far away. If the damage numbers don't come up, you're still dealing damage. You have to look at the health bar. So the range on this thing is actually quite far. It's pretty crazy, actually. So if you play effectively, if you can maintain a distance between the enemies and yourself, you can keep them chasing you, wasting time, and you can just keep shooting them. So this is really good on fast classes, or on fast units with high speed. Any increases to speed will help as well. But you can hit things from very far away, as you can see here. So it is a ranged class that uses a bow. It's effective against flyers and gauntlets. It's weak to magic. So let's just kind of jump into the basic attacks. So your first Y attack shoots 3 projectiles in a kind of tight cone. Your second Y attack shoots 4 in a wider cone. These attacks have pretty good range. So I'm trying to maintain distance so I can show you the range, because it's quite insane. You can see we're actually hitting him that far out. So it's actually pretty good for this reason. And then your fifth Y shoots out 5 projectiles in an increasing cone. And then your fourth Y shoots out a kind of burst quickly. The range on the fourth Y isn't as good. So you can see there, it's not as good, it's not as far. It's still quite far. The damage is mostly next to you. So you can see there, like, hits a few times when things are next to you. So it's more of like a close range attack. So what you can do is while things are approaching you, you can kind of build it up. And then maybe they get within range of it. Then your fifth Y kind of shoots out a bunch of projectiles. It shoots out 5 bursts of 2. It deals pretty good damage. So let's see. I'm going to try to get really far away from this for a second. Alright. So the range on it's pretty good. It's very similar to your normal range. So you can hit things from pretty far away with all of your attacks. That's like that's what you want to do as an archer, right? You want to kite, you want to zone. So kiting is hitting enemies when they can't hit you. And zoning, I'm actually going to look up zoning. That's like a fighting game term. I'm pretty sure it's like hitting, it's like the same thing. Zoning. Yeah, it's essentially kiting, but it's more advanced. So zoning refers to tactics centered around keeping the opponent at a specific distance. Okay, so unlike kiting where I'm just hitting you and you can't hit me, zoning is you want to keep them in a specific distance. So we don't need to do that, so ignore that. You just want to hit things when they're not hitting you. You just want to kite things. Okay, so those are your Y attacks, your X attacks. Your first X attack, class action, you can hit it right away, and it'll just shoot out. So if you're targeting something, it'll put it on them. So you can see there, I'm just hitting X, it's just putting it on this dude. You can also manually target it and charge it. So let's do that. So you can also hold in X to charge it. And you can see here I can actually aim it. Now you can't move while doing this, so you're like committed to doing that. And it creates this like arrow storm that can be useful, like for armor break, because it hits a ton of times. So it can be annoying to set up, but there is a way to set it up more viably, in a more viable way. I'm not sure if viably is a word, but all right. So that's your class action, your X attack. So then you have your launcher, YX. So it like swipes and then does like this upshot. It's like a burst. So the swipe is actually what launches, and then the burst kind of juggles. So there's a little bit of commitment, not too much. Like it's like decent. It's not horrible. Some launchers have horrible commitment. This one's like kind of medium. And then you have your YYX. This attack is really good for just like zoning, or I'm zoning, for kiting. You just kind of move back like this, and then just keep shooting these. It just shoots a single shot for good damage. So you can't go wrong doing that. Let's actually just hit him. I just want to see how effective it is at range. It's pretty good. You can kind of just keep doing this all day. You're usually going to be faster than most other classes. Now, obviously, if things are in the way, it'll hit those first. There we go. Okay, so that's your YYX. YYYX kind of does this, like, arrow storm. So it's kind of similar to your class action. It comes out faster, though, and it hits near you. So here it is. Just kind of goes around you. I'm going to untarget just to kind of show. It doesn't matter what you're targeting. It will always be near you. So if you want to hit this enemy at range with it, it's still going to end up near you. It kind of works out because by the time things get to you, they're just going to run into it. So it's almost like setting like a kind of trap. And then you have your 4YX, so Y, 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 X. Big jump up, and then it's like a launcher. It's like a meteor launcher. It like hits it. You shoot the ground as a meteor type thing. It bounces them up, deals really good damage. This is good for building up at range. Now, obviously, I just took a hit there, so that's kind of unfortunate. But if something's really far away, you can usually build it up pretty easily, and then dodge afterwards. So that's a pretty good attack. So those are your attacks. So let's go over class tactics. So you generally want to be kiting things, as you can see here. You want to be like committing minimally if you're under pressure. You want to just be hitting things for damage. The basic combos for like quick damage are like YX and YYX. If you want to just get in quick damage and then like dodge. And then if you have an opportunity to get burst damage in, you can use one of the higher commitment chains. Generally, like YYX is pretty good for just getting in quick damage. So there's that. So attack foes as they approach you from a distance. Use combat arts and heavy attacks to maintain distance. So if you can get a launch off, if you can get a bounce off, if you can push enemies back, you can use like combat arts to push them back. That's like really useful. You can use your speed and dodging. I'm going to show some other tactics too. Just like with melee classes, you can roll behind attacking foes. So let's get him to attack. So just roll behind him, then attack him, then just continue to roll. In this case, the roll is more like a dash. Or I guess that is what it is in this game. It is like a dash. It's not really a roll. So you can get like a dash, get some boost, or some bonus damage there. Get some chains off. And once you get a juggle, you usually want to capitalize on it. Okay. So you can get your class action to come out faster. So if I do YXX, it charges much faster. It still requires some commitment though. So like you gotta get your YX. And then after the second hit, you can do that pretty fast. One thing you can do that's pretty useful, in my opinion, is if you're going to be zoning just like this, or kiting. I don't like keep saying zoning. It's funny. You can kind of get the chain off. The only problem though, like honestly, I don't think you're better off full charging it. I think if you just like release it, so like YX. Oops, let's not get hit. I think you're better off just doing that. Because like if you do this, like you can see when I charge it, it charges fast. But if you like full charge it, you're probably going to get hit if enemies are fast. And the other thing too is when you fully charge it, you can then aim it. If you don't fully charge it, it won't aim. And it'll auto-aim to the thing you're targeting. Aiming it is quite slow. In this game, most enemies are just going to be rushing towards you. So the fact that you can aim it isn't actually a good thing, and it aims very slow. So I think you're better off just like using it right away and then dodging. Alright, so here's just a quick X attack. So let's see how long this lasts. Let me untarget this. Alright, it lasts pretty long. Yeah, I don't know how much value there really is in like full on charging it. Let's find out. Maybe if you can get like a launch off, it's good. Seems okay. He dodged out of it though. I have to wonder how good it is. I mean, it seems like it can be okay situationally if you get like a launch. So I guess like you can kind of play in this way where you're like baiting attacks, go for a launch. If you get it, then you like full on charge. Yeah, you might as well do that because then you can keep things at bay. You can start to like YYX. Then you can also charge into YYX, put it around you if you want. And the other thing too is you can always dodge through it, so that enemies are like forced to run through it. That can be decent. You can kind of use it in this way. This is like the ultimate zoning. Except, I guess in this way it is zoning, so we're actually trying to keep it at a set distance to stay in the AoE. I'm just kind of playing around with it a bit. And if something's stuck in there, you might as well go big and do the 4Y into X chain. So that's that big attack there. You can kind of use YYX at range, and then as a foe approaches. See, the thing is, like, they're going to run through it. So, like, there's definitely some mastery to that. Let's see if we can change the settings really quick to increase the speed that moves. Because if you can do that, that changes everything. So let's go to settings. I'm curious about this controller settings. I actually have my look speed up. I think that helps. Lock on camera movements. We don't want that. Let's see. I don't think... Let's see. Camera shake. Rumble. That's just inverted. Game settings. Right now I'm on hard because I haven't unlocked maddening yet. Yeah, I don't think we get the option to increase the speed at which you move your aimed attacks, which is unfortunate. I'd like to be able to move that cursor faster, so that's unfortunate. Yeah, because right now it moves kind of slow. Like things run faster than it moves, so it just feels kind of awkward in some situations. And I just want to use like the X attack and then just get out of there, because by the time a thing has run up to you, it's like hitting you now, so, you know, I guess you could do something like this. So use like a combat art. Okay. Alright, so those are some basic combos with this class. Okay, so let me just read through my notes. Use combat arts to open up a combo, just like I did. Switch to archer from your main unit. So one way to get easy distance is to do this. Now I have distance. You just switch characters. So if you have two archers, you can just kind of keep doing this. This is almost like AI abuse, because like right now the AI is just going to keep changing focus to different things. I would do this with an archer and a physical unit. So I would have a physical unit that wails on this, and then you can physically start whacking it away from your archer, and then switch to your archer, and then get distance for free, and then just start spamming. Especially after it commits to attacks into their unit. That can be pretty useful. That also won't affect your S rank, because damage taken on non-active units doesn't count towards it, or at least as far as the community knows. Building up the YYYX combo at range is decent. I think YYX is just really good. It's really safe. Like if you don't have stun, like you know, stun lock or guard break or juggle or anything like that, it's pretty safe to do that. And then YX is also relatively safe, so it's fast. And you can see here, like as an enemy attacks, you can just dodge to the side and just shoot it in the flank. And if it commits to a big attack, then you can get a huge combo off. So you get like one of these off. But if you're going to be at this distance, you're going to want to use your 4YX combo. So let's demo that. Damn it, Claude, stop killing. He's just like fucking him up. Alright, here we go. Alright, he's dead. Let me get a new one. Let me get a new enemy to fight. Alright, so let's say we're fighting this. We want to be close to hit it with every attack to some degree. So this is like an example. So this is like the use case, right? Like you want to be at like at this range. You can like dodge to get off your big chain. You're basically like skirting the edge of danger. You're like right on the edge of getting hit or not. I guess you could dodge twice if you want extra safety. It depends on how quickly you want to get damage out. Obviously, time spent dodging is time you're not damaging things. But it's like pretty safe to dodge twice in this case. Relatively speaking. I just got hit. You can always just run too. Like dodge and then run. Kind of just keep doing that and try to not to get hit. The only thing I don't like about the attack chain for Archer is how you move forward. Because most of your attacks are ranged, so you don't really need to be moving forward, but it kind of moves you forward. So I would say your overall strategy should be to hit foes that are approaching you. And then move once they get too close and start attacking, and then just keep doing that until they're dead. Alternatively, you can bait them with units. Like you can run like a heavy rushdown unit like a Paladin or a Cavalier or a Pegasus Knight or something. Start going to town. And then just like switch to your Archer. And you can also do things like have the other units use combat arts to open enemies up, to disable them, to get them stunned. And then you yourself can open up with combat arts. You can kind of use this class like a melee unit because the damage is fine. The damage is pretty good. It can be annoying to constantly get distance, so you can even play like this, where you just keep like dodging to the side. Except I wouldn't use that 3Y attack. I would use like YYX. Then of course you can get off your big armor break. So YX, YYX, I would say are your big spam combos. Like things with commitment, like your charge, that's big commitment. Probably want to avoid that. Or situationally use it. You can do it out of a heavy attack for less commitment. Against enemies that are rushing you, using the charge is not really that good because they will literally outrun the cursor. So unless they're right next to you and the cursor's already on them, they're probably going to get away from it. And then they're just going to continue to get next to you and start smacking you. So like your big commitment things, your 3YX, your 4YX, your X charge. You can see here, it's like so slow. It moves like painfully slow. And then you're in super commitment when you're shooting it too. Because like with Archer, you're trying to keep yourself away from things and hit them at range, so it's kind of counterintuitive to be overcommitted. And honestly, like YYX seems to be like the lowest commitment. It seems like the commitment is similar to YX. So let's actually like, so here's YX. Now obviously if you get a juggle, that's great. If you get a launch on the actual enemy units, that's great. And then you can start a combo. But that's YYX. YYX has similar commitment, but more damage. And it has better range, because the launcher doesn't really deal damage at range. And you can see there, you hop back too. So you get like a little bit of distance. So it's really safe to do this. Like YYX, I would say, is your best friend on Archer. And your other chains are fine if you can get opportunities, but just be aware of the commitment of these attacks so you don't die. But that's pretty much it for that. Now let's go over the abilities. We'll just go through them really quickly. Okay. Holy shit. That is a lot of abilities. Alright, Archer's Wisdom. Increased damage dealt proportion to dex when using Archer, Sniper, Bow Knight. Tracking Shot. It's combat art. I'll cover that in a separate video. Bow Prowess, plus 10% damage when using a bow. Per rank, so if you have multiples of Bow Prowess, it'll condense it into one and just stack it. So if you have 3 bow prowesses unlocked, you'll have 30% bonus damage. Break shot, another combat art. 1 heart, 1 mind. This is kind of interesting. Increases elemental effects of adjacent follow-ups. Point blank volley. Another combat art. Alright, so this is when she doesn't even have like a boon either. Like this is just like her on Archer. Alright, let's check out some other classes on Archer. Because there's like some variation. Alright, so now we have Archer's Ploy. Increases the critical hit rate of Archer, Sniper, and Bow Knight class abilities, so that's pretty good. You have Tracking Shot again, Bow Prowess. Seems like 1 heart, 1 mind is a common theme here. Point blank volley, so some combat arts. A lot of combat arts on this class. So Archer's Wisdom. So Archer's Wisdom and then Archer's... Is it Archer's Ploy? Yeah, Archer's Ploy. That's pretty common on most classes. You get one or the other. And in this case, Lorenz has Arms Thrift. Slows the degrading of weapon durability when using combat arts of magic. This is really good in general, so you would want to unlock this just to get this because it's very useful to have. Reducing the amount of durability you consume is insane, considering combat arts are insanely powerful in this game, so this is really good. Alright, let's see what else we got. So he also has Arms Thrift, Archer's Ploy. So you have a lot of Bow Prowess, Archer's Ploy. It seems there's 3 combat arts per unit. That's interesting. Except on Ignatz. Oh, I know why. It's probably because he has combat arts already. Because he's kind of like innately an archer. Or I could be wrong. But you can see here, like, he gets a boon to being an archer. But Archer's Ploy, 1 heart, 1 mind. You know, break shot, point blank volley. I like to check even like the mages just to see if it's any difference. Archer's Wisdom, so that's the damage increase. Bow Prowess. Arms Thrift is pretty good. I would just master this just for that, because you can equip these, you know, on any class, right? That's how the abilities work. So pretty useful. Let's just check Leonie. She also has Arms Thrift, Spiral Shot. I thought it said Spinal Shot for a second. And then interestingly enough, Shamir, also someone who tends to be an archer, has just 2 abilities as well. So that's kind of strange. Like everyone else gets 6, but the actual archers have 4. So kind of a weird thing there, unless they already have some passive that's like overlapping. Yeah, Archer's Ploy. Yeah, pretty good class. It can be fun to play. It's kind of like a mix between a physical unit, like a melee unit, rushdown, and a mage. It's kind of like a hybrid between that, where it can do well at close range because it has a little bit more durability than a mage, but it doesn't have as much durability or staying power as a melee unit. It has like a lot of high commitment attacks because it hits at range, so that's kind of the way they balance it out. Because obviously if you could just spam abilities from really far away, you could just, nothing will ever hit you, so you'll just win by default. However, one of the downsides is the damage isn't as high as other classes, so if you're going for time, and time is an issue for getting S ranks, there could be a downside there. Archers, I think, are pretty good as like defenders, like units that just follow you, because you can generally keep other units away from them and they'll just keep attacking, and they have lower risk of getting hit, because as soon as you're active, like you saw there, he immediately switched to me. Whoever's the active unit gets hit, so Hilda really should be shooting this. Let's see. Let me see if I can give her like orders or something. Or actually you can't in this. You can't give anyone orders in this map. Never mind. Alright, so she's just kind of shooting him. So you can see there, like as this enemy hesitates, I can kind of lead. And when I play melee units, I tend to rotate around like this. So what I would be doing the whole time anyways is like attacking and moving in this way. Except that she accidentally got... I don't know what the hell she's doing. But there she goes. Now she's getting some attacks off. So you can see she's a distance away from the enemy. Low chance of getting hit. This could be good for like Byleth fight and Death Knight fight. Having a bunch of ranged archers and mages and stuff. Now the big downside to them is that when they like do get under fire and they do get hit and you're not near them, they can die. But as long as you have other units that can defend them, heal them, whatever, they're fine. So she's kind of going to town. Blocking. Yeah, the AI tends to be bad at combat. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Archer. Let me know if I missed anything or if anything's wrong. Also, definitely drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the guides, what you think about the game, who your favorite unit is, and why. And also like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. It greatly helps the channel. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.